I have always been told that happiness is a state of being, but I have learned that this is not true. Happiness is first a state of doing. Only then, when you do happy, can you be happy. 5 months ago, I was living a life that should have made me happy. I had a serious career in the respectable field of graphic design with a good paycheck that earned me all the comforts of life. Yet, it was this perfect life that I could barely face. Each morning, after being jolted awake by my alarm, I hit the snooze button repeatedly to delay the start of my day as long as I possibly could. This forced me to mindlessly rush through my morning and then trudge through commuter traffic, inching towards a cold, gray cubicle farm where I faced unchallenging, purposeless work. I looked forward to lunch all morning and 5 p.m. all afternoon. That sound familiar? Yet at the end of the day, I was exhausted and foggy, as if my head was turning to mush. It was 7 years post-graduation, and I couldn't believe this is what my life turned into and how bleak my future looked. But one day, in that cold, gray cubicle city, I stumbled across the website for a graphic design firm that produced the most adorable modern work for toy companies, clothing lines, trendy little cupcake shops, and places like that. I was totally blown away. Until that moment, I don't think that I actually realized that you could make a living off whimsy, which was right up my alley. The best parts of my life have always been full of whimsy. I had silly little parties with cute costumes, playful friends, and small furry animals, cute everything. And then there was my job, which stuck out like this big, uninspiring, sore thumb. I had learned that you chose a serious career in a logical field to earn a good paycheck so you could live comfortably. After all, that was the American dream, right? And I had all those things, and I was still unhappy. Was I just ungrateful? It turns out I had chosen my life based on good advice. And although well-intentioned, it turned out that for me, this advice was wrong. Yet here was my shining light. I could feel it in my bones. This was where I belonged, and I had found my people. I was already envisioning myself moving across the country and working for this great design firm when I realized I had absolutely nothing to show them that I was right for the job. I knew in my heart of hearts that I was a perfect fit, but my portfolio was full of bland corporate design. There was no way they would even ask me in for an interview given my current work. It was at that moment that I realized that in order to live the kind of life I wanted, I had to actually start doing the sort of things that I wanted to do. Imagine that, right? I had to do what made me happy, not for money and not because anyone was telling me to, but just for myself, because it is what I love to do. And the people who were living the kind of life that I wanted had just started doing what made them happy in every aspect of their lives, and it was carrying over and attracting the right people to them so they could continue to develop their passions. It seemed so stupidly simple, yet it wasn't a concept that I had ever been taught or had fully grasped until that moment. So I got back to my artist roots and I started making cute things again. I did what made me happy anytime that I possibly could. I was drawing, I was painting, I was making puns and writing haikus, and doing all these silly things that come naturally and are fun for me. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I had to stop looking at what I want to do as silly, because these are things that I love and make up who I am. It's funny how it's so socially acceptable to talk about how flawed we are, but the moment we know we're good at something we love, we just brush it off as unimportant or don't talk about it at all. It turns out I was discounting myself as silly, and thus holding me back from discovering my true joy and passion. But once I opened the door to my passions, I knew I couldn't live without it no matter what anybody said. And why would I want to hide that I'm happy being me? So one day while I was being creative, I picked up a lump of clay, and something in my brain exploded. I love this. It just came so naturally, and I never wanted to stop. I took some with me to work to poke at in my downtime. I took some with me to friends' houses to play with while I visited, everywhere that I went. The thought that I could possibly turn it into a career didn't even cross my mind. But I started sharing my creations with my friends on Instagram and Facebook, and before I knew it, people were offering to buy them. And I thought, joke's on you, but okay. I would have made people sculptures without them paying me, and for a while I did. But it was taking a significant part of my free time, so eventually I accepted. One day, while I was watching my favorite cartoon, Bob's Burgers, I decided, yeah, it's a really great show. I decided to make the characters into snails. I put them up on Instagram, and before I knew it, Bento Box Entertainment, the company who makes Bob's Burgers, they found them and reposted them on all of their social media. The very next day, I was making a set for the company. And then BuzzFeed, which is kind of a pop culture news site, they saw the posts. They interviewed me and put an article up of their own. And within 24 hours of the BuzzFeed post, I had over 150 commission inquiries sitting in my email. And my Instagram account had jumped from 600 My Instagram account had jumped from 600 to over 2,000 followers. So I knew what I had to do. I quit that uninspiring job, and I started sculpting full-time. When you're passionate about something, it comes through in your work, and it propels your life forward in ways that you can't even imagine. And when you choose to live by your passions, it inspires the people around you to as well. As Marion Williamson said, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Now imagine a life where everyone had the courage to find and follow their joy. But what if you don't know what your true passion is? Maybe it's something less tactile, like putting a smile on people's faces. Think of how you can combine that with something you love to do and see where that gets you. Honestly, the thing that really gets me going is making other people happy. And here I am, sculpting tiny whimsical creatures for the sole purpose of making people smile. As soon as I chose to channel my passion and energy into both of my passions, my life took off. Now I know I am lucky. The right people saw my work at the right time, and they took to it. But if I had never started doing what I loved in the first place, there wouldn't have been any work for them to see. No one is going to pick you out of a crowd and say, you there, somewhere in there you have something we love. Show them. Find the courage to follow your joy. Share it with the world and watch your life unfold. Don't just be happy, do happy.